And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Ryan Metzler.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan Metzler, and today we're going to be taking a look at a print-and-play game. This is a game designed by designer Joe Veen. It is a flicking game, a genre that I'm particularly fond of with Crokinole and several other games, but particularly Crokinole. And this one mimics that, but puts a theme to it of space exploration and space combat. Now this, as I said, is a print-and-play game. You can print your own copy. This one will be printed, or is printed, by Andrew Tullison of Print-and-Play Games, or Print-and-Play Productions. You can check that out on his site if you'd like, and you'd like to get a nice printed copy like this one. This is a game for 2 players, or I guess you could play more if you wanted to split it up, but we're going to take a look at how it plays real quick. We'll take a look at the components, and then we'll come back here and we'll get my final opinion on this game. So here you can see my randomly set up space assault map with some asteroids. We have large, middle, and small size asteroids, and then each player here, this is set up for a 2-player game, but you can split it into teams and play multiple players per team. We have 4 fighters, which are these ships right here, which have laser fire. It's hard to see here, but they're a fighter. They have a blue shield in the front and then a laser fire range on them. You get 4 of those, and you get 2 battleships, which are the same size. They have much more in terms of shielding. They have 2 lasers and then a spot for a homing missile to fire. So each player is going to have 2 of those and 4 fighters. And they're going to set them up on their side of the table, facing however they want, but probably facing forward. And then they're going to go ahead and start taking actions. Now, you have to be careful, and this is a very small map. You'd probably have it a lot more distributed. But on your turn, you get 2 action points. And actions can really be used for one of 2 things. That is to flick your ship, and you can move ships for action points. So flicking a ship would be an action point. So if I could just go ahead and flick this ship, I'd want to be very careful, but I could flick that ship for an action point. Now you'll notice the ship rotates, and now the ship is facing a different way. You can only fire with your laser shots in the arc that is on this ship. So you'll see there's that very small arc there. You'd have to place to fire within that area to shoot. So now I can shoot from here, and I can only shoot within that arc, so I'd have to hit something within that arc. Now, shooting is a different action, and that's going to cast you 1 action as well. So your options are really flick a ship for an action point or shoot for an action point. But you can also use action points as a different part of movement in order to rotate ships freely. And fighters can rotate for a half an action point. So if I had shot this for 1 action point, I could now rotate it to face this direction for another action point. Not only does that put my shields out in front of me, but it keeps it so that if somebody does get in front of me on a future turn, I can fire in that direction. Now, you can also fire with your battleships. You can fire what are called homing missiles. And that's that yellow arc there. And these missiles you would put in the arc again. So let's say my battleship was out here and I'd fire straight, and that's going to stay on the board. The laser shots go away if you miss, but the homing missile stays on the board. And on one of your future turns, you can redirect this homing missile to hit one of your other players without using an action. So, if I missed now and then next turn I could flick it and hit that guy, it wouldn't blow him up. Well, it's going to blow him up because it destroys his shields, but if it had been a laser shot that hit him, it wouldn't destroy him because he would have been protected by his shields, and you can only kill people by hitting their unshielded areas, except for with homing missiles. So, you're going to be doing a combination of flicking, trying to hit your opponent's ships with your shots using your 2 actions, using the homing missile that, can get free actions, basically, and avoiding these asteroids, because any ship that hits an asteroid is destroyed immediately and out of the game. So you really want to avoid those. In addition, you want to avoid hitting your opponent's ship. Anytime that a ship hits another ship, both ships are going to be destroyed and removed from the game. So there is, some aspect to maybe kamikazing your opponent's ships if you think you're in a better position to last longer with your remaining ships. Also, any ship that goes off of the board and flies off is out of the game as well. So you have to be careful where you're flicking, trying to appropriately space yourself to get good shots off, to hit your opponents, to use that homing missile to kind of move around the board with free actions, and to maybe ram some of your opponent's ships, and whoever has ships remaining while the other player loses all their ships is going to be the winner. And there you have it. That is the print-and-play title Space Assault. As you can tell, a very light game, and with most dexterity games, I think you get a lighter game. There's not too much strategy to it. It's really just position your discs, hope that you can get those shots off with your lasers, or simply kamikaze your ships into another player's ship and destroy them straight out. Now, I said at the beginning it's a 2-player game, and I've played it mostly as a 2-player game, but you can split up into a 2, 4, or 6-player game, just kind of splitting up sides, splitting into teams, and doing the game that way. So, as I said, not a real strategic game, but an enjoyable one, nice and short. If you're looking for something more strategic in the dexterity, flicking aspect with a lot more of a kind of tech development type of thing, you can take a look at Ascending Empires here behind me. Or if you're looking for an less strategic or more skill-based game, you can definitely take a look at Crokinole, one of my favorite games. With that said, I do enjoy dexterity games, and I think Space Assault is a good print-and-play title.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.